In the United States, immigrant workers contribute a significant part of the overall labor force. According to a recent study by the Pew Hispanic Center in Washington, D.C., approximately 7.2 million are illegal immigrants.
Now, the people wearing yellow bands around their head or their arms, they're not shooting up. We're actually security people. When we go down 6th Street, please make sure not to go onto the road and stay on the sidewalk, or else Claremont PD will stop us. Thanks for coming, and let's start this march, guys. Make some noise!
There's a cloud today over our country that is seeking to paint the immigrant and anyone who supports them as criminals. And I ask you, are we criminals?
Fight, fight, fight! Immigrant rights! Fight, fight, fight! Immigrant rights! Fight, fight, fight!
We are no more criminals today than the likes of the George Bush administration and the Republicans. $1.9 million that they were spending in Iraq and are using it now to build more border patrol on the border. Are we criminals?
Ain't no power like the power of the people.
I was an undocumented immigrant. I remember still the fear and how upsetting it was to be here, to be working and not having rights. Even though people complain here in the U.S. that immigrants come to this nation, in the case of Latin America, for instance, you have to understand the politics of the U.S. in those nations that cause for people to leave their lands, that cause for people not to have enough to eat, and the terrible jobs that are there and the situation.
NAFTA and these other trade agreements have not resulted in a lessening of immigration because those programs and those corporations are not going over there to help people. They're going over there to exploit people. So it has not decreased the number of immigrants coming to this country. We continue to have an increase in the number of immigrants. And so what it means is the Latino population is growing immensely. Today is May Day, a holiday that began in the 1880s in the U.S. and is now commemorated all over the world, but has been excluded in the U.S. The reason we have the 8-hour day today is because on this day, thousands of workers marched for the 8-hour day and were met by the police, and many were killed, and Lucy Gonzalez's husband was eventually executed for marching.
What do we want? Immigrant rights! When do we want them? Now!
Immigrant rights!
Let's go now!
the equality of all people. It's like the Pilgrims came from England to seek a better life.
I think this bill sucks. It's a violation of rights.
There were 25 measures that were introduced that would restrict immigrants' access to college, block state-funded benefits, and encourage police officers to act as immigration agents.
We're here to support the immigration reform because immigration is not a crime.
This is an issue that everyone is going to be affected, and I think that everyone should be out here. Anyone from any background, regardless of if you are an immigrant, which we all are. Like, HR 3347 is going to affect all of us.
Those 25 bills were introduced by Senate Republicans. Of course, every one of those bills was defeated.
I'm second generation. My father came from Mexico in his early teens, and he ended up graduating at the head of his class and getting a full ride to the same university that I go to. And my brother's at the same college as well. It means a lot to my family that we all go to school. Both my sisters graduated with masters, and the reason we've done that is because we've seen the struggle that my grandparents went through to get my father here to be able to get stable feet under his ground. And I think that a place like America gives stable ground, and we should be able to provide that to the rest of the world, not just to those who are born here.
Se nos respete como trabajadores, también como personas.
My parents are immigrants, so this is an important cause to me. Most of my family's immigrants, so I feel this is something I really need to support.
Claremont College is being majorly white, students coming here. And as of lately, in the past, say, 2 or 3 years, there's been a larger growing Latino presence here. We all got together and decided to create the 5C Latino Leaders Coalition. And this was put on in support of May 1st, especially because a lot of people are boycotting, and people here really don't know what's going on. So we were able to get some professors to come down and speak.
The Urban Institute found that immigrants pay $70.3 billion in tax payments, but draw out only $42.9 billion in total services, and they add billions more to the economy and consumer spending. There are studies to show a lot of cities have survived because of the immigrant workers.
We have friends, we have family, we have co-workers that people need to understand. All we want to do is be here. We want to be treated like everybody. We want the same rights as everybody here that is legal. All we want to do is work, and we want to do everything the right way. So on behalf of everybody that couldn't come, I'm here to show my support.
We're basically supporting all the immigrant people that have no rights, that have very bad working conditions.
Me, myself, my family is not necessarily immigrants, but like my great-grandparents were all immigrants who came at the beginning of the 20th century, and I don't see really any difference between those situations. And I feel that if these sort of repressive laws had been in place when my grandparents, my great-grandparents tried to come here, I wouldn't be here right now.
Para que todos seamos iguales, que haya más oportunidad para todas las personas como nosotros hispanos.
Something like this brings awareness not just to the students that are here, but also the students who are not here, because this is loud, people can hear it, it's close by, there's 5 other colleges nearby. So I think this kind of solidarity shows us our peers that this is very important to us. And if you just look around in the crowd, we're not looking at just Latinos that are hanging out here. You have white people, black people, Asian people, every race, every creed, every nationality, every kind of sexual orientation, and I think that's what is the most important thing.
Yo tengo mi familia que también está luchando aquí, es trabajadora y todo, y estamos aquí apoyando a esta causa.
Portarnos como americanos que somos todos, de norte a sur, de oriente a poniente.
This is an issue of international human rights, and that's something that I'm very much in support of. And I'm also here to support my students and all the students who I don't even know who helped to organize this. I'm very, very proud of them for what they were able to turn out here today.
They want to keep us from becoming permanent residents. They want to keep us from becoming citizens, because if they know that we can get those things, then we might just have a little bit of political power that might change the kind of legislation that has kept our undocumented brothers and sisters out of college. Sí se puede, sí se puede, sí se puede, sí se puede. Thank you.